Advocate Mkhwanazi, Advocate Mkhwanazi.
Good morning, Honorable Chair, Honorable members, colleagues.
Good morning, the staff of Parliament.
Good morning, Honorable Chair, Honorable members.
Thank you so much. It is 10 o'clock, Honorable members. We have agreed that we are going to meet this time. I think we should start with the business of the meeting so that we allow members sufficient time for traveling. Let me take this opportunity and welcome all of you to this meeting. This is a meeting which should prepare for the hearings which are going to happen starting from tomorrow, but also to integrate the public and civil society submissions into the program of the committee, the timetable. And I think we will receive a presentation which will provide details on what suggestions are being made for the consideration of the committee. There are several correspondences that have also been made to the committee, which the committee will consider. Can I check if we have apologies for the meeting before we come back for the adoption of the agenda? Mkhwanazi? Honorable Cameron?
Good morning, Chair. Chair, I just want to give notice that at 1 p.m. I'll be occupied for about 30 to 45 minutes and then I'll rejoin again.
That is welcome. The request is granted. Honorable Cameron, can I see Honorable Sangoni.
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, honourable members. Chair, we submitted an apology for myself and Honourable Nduli to please be excused at 2 o'clock if the meeting is not yet concluded. Thank you, Chair.
That is accepted. Honourable Mkhwanazi.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee and staff. Chair, the Honourable Malema will be joining us shortly. We're just tying up some stuff at our headquarters this morning.
Okay, that is accepted. Honourable Barnard.
Good morning, Chair. I did put my apology through to one of the administrators of the committee, but just to reiterate, I have to leave at 12 to catch a plane. So I will be excusing myself at that time. Thank you.
That is accepted, Honourable Barnard. The last hand is that of Honourable Topper.
Good day, Chairperson and committee. I also have to catch a plane. I will be on until about 12:20.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm also driving to Johannesburg in some parts between Polokwane and Hammanskraal. I may have difficulties in terms of connection, but I don't think that that can affect the meeting seriously. It may be just for very few minutes. In case when I reach that point, we are still in a meeting. I'm not seeing members of the MKP in the meeting.
Good morning, Chair and members. Honorable Shongo here.
Yes, Honorable Shongo, we were dealing with apologies and I wanted to check if there are apologies from your party.
No, Chair. I think they'll be joining. They might be struggling with network. I was speaking with them not so long. They'll be joining anytime soon, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. And I guess that the apology of Honorable Vessels is still standing. Unless if he has joined us today. Okay, honorable members, the Mkhwanazi or anybody working with you.
Chair, sorry to interrupt. I don't know. Not quite sure how to use these things, but I thought I raised my hand.
Yeah.
Just quickly, I'm actually not sure whether my colleagues Maria Mgiwe are on the platform, and even I had also asked earlier through Vanani to be excused because we've got a lot of preparation to do. So if they're not on, could I ask for them to be formally excused? And as far as I'm concerned, Chair, if with your leave, if I can deal with matters that fall within our domain and that the committee needs input on, could I please also deal with that as soon as possible and ask them to be excused? Thank you.
Yeah. Advocate, I was very much aware of that there are consultations that must be concluded, and also prepare for consultations with Mkhwanazi this week. So we moved the item up on the agenda immediately after the adoption of the agenda. We will give you to present, and once you feel the pressure of time, you are always free to leave the meeting.
Thank you, Chair.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's in order. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bonani, can we fly the agenda on the screen for members to see it and hear what their inputs are on the agenda? Honorable members, the first item is the report on consultation and proposed timetable of appearances, and that will be, like I said, will be inclusive. There will be dates suggested on how to deal with public submissions and civil society organizations. And then the next will be the item is Mr. Paul O'Sullivan and NPA report, and Mr. Brown Mkhwanazi. We will get a report there as to what is the latest. Remember, with the NPA report, we referred it to the legal team to give us an opinion on how the committee can process that response from the NPA on the charges, the pending charges against Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. And then Honorable Sols has also requested that we give him chance. He gave us some minute details last time. We will afford him an opportunity to present. I had a meeting last week with the chair of the JSCI, and I think the letter which the JSCI has written to us has been made available to committee members. And then the honorable member from the UAT has written to us making some particular request about a witness that he feels may have to be invited before the committee. Committee members will consider that letter and the request thereof. And the MKP in the last meeting has requested to be given an opportunity to make a presentation on certain aspects of the judiciary. So those are the items that are on the agenda. Can I check if members want to make suggestions for additional items? Is there any suggestion for the agenda to be adopted?
There are two hands up, Chairman and Honorable Matthias.
Okay, Honorable Breitenbach.
Oh, thanks, Chair, but Honorable Matthias was before me, but I'm happy to go as soon as you call me. I would like to just suggest here that we put some sort of time limit on these presentations. Otherwise, we may well be here until late tonight.
Oh, okay. What is the time limit you suggest?
Oh, not to be unreasonable, Chair, but certainly not longer than 15 or 20 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Honorable Mathis.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is that we've been raising the issue about additional resources for the committee to be able to do its work optimally, and we're coming towards the end. I know as the economic freedom fighters, I don't know about the other members, we have a whole list of information that we require, and that's going to require a forensic investigator or some sort of investigator. So if we can get an update or a report from you, Chair, or I don't know who's responsible for engaging both the Speaker and the Chair of Chairs regarding the additional resources for the committee, because we've been raising this for a bit. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Okay. Any further inputs?
Yes, Chair, Honorable Shoma. It's a question, Chair, in fact. Chair, at one stage we were submitting names, and I recall that we were submitting in terms of political, operational, and stuff like that. So I don't know, I wanted to ask whether, I remember you once said that we will submit the other names of like the former presidents and the stuff, and the current president and the other names, political and stuff like that. I don't know what happened to that process. I just want to know, have we stopped submitting names in terms of that space? Thank you, Chair.
Do you want to have that item on the agenda?
If possible, Chair, yes.
Okay, let's include the item on the agenda. If the meeting does not take
I don't seem to be hearing anything.
Yeah, I'm afraid I've also lost all the sound.
We've lost the chair.
Oh, that's terrible.
Is that fine with you, Honorable Shonga?
Oh, when I Chair, we lost you. We didn't hear a thing you said. You'll have to repeat.
Yeah, we lost you.
Yeah, I see that my gadget is reconnecting. Am I now reconnected?
Yes, Chair.
I'm saying the item that you suggest will be the last on the agenda, and we will look at the proceedings of the meeting. If at the time we reach the item, it's late and members feel that we can decide on another day, because I can see now on the program that we have some of the appearances which are going to be virtual. So I think we will have time to discuss such matters if we don't exhaust it today. But let's have it on the agenda. Is that okay?
Chair, if I may, I don't mind it being the last or deferred to a next meeting, but as it was a point of clarity that have we closed on submitting names? What happened to that?
Let's put the item on the agenda, and we will discuss it when we.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Yeah. Is that all that honorable members wanted to suggest on the agenda? I'm not seeing any further hand here on the board. So I'm going to hand over to Mr. Tejana and the legal team to take us through the first and the second item.
Good morning, Chairperson, and good morning to honorable members and to my colleagues. Chairperson, this is the aspect in which Council will be leading us. Thank you very much.
Advocate, are you unmuted?
No, Chair, I'm waiting for you to indicate and I can speak. If I may, then I will proceed.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Thank you, Honourable Chair, Honourable members, my parliamentary colleagues. The program, or the draft program rather, is before you. It does look a bit different to a draft that we presented to them, but it's not a train smash. As indicated, this week we have McBride and Julius Mkhwanazi. I see the following week there's space on the 26th for oral submissions by civil society, and then on 27, 28 we've got O'Sullivan. Thus far we have consulted with him virtually. He had also indicated as far back as 2 December last year in a email letter addressed to you that he was unable to appear in person. So that aspect needs to be resolved. Then we have Brown Mkhwanazi, who we have now scheduled to consult with on Wednesday, after earlier also he raised issues both about not having legal representation and also some security concerns. So we have agreed to consult with him virtually on Wednesday, and he will discuss further his in-person attendance with Mkhwanazi, who will no doubt communicate with you, Honourable Chair, about an in-person appearance and to make sure that he's comfortable. Then on the 30th of January, you see there's some submissions by members of the public. That's fine, all virtually. Then on the 3rd, General Pashlani returns, and then we see that on the 4th of February, Honourable Adams and Honourable Kola Barnard are scheduled to appear, and then we conclude with Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi to do a sweep of allegations that have emerged during the course of the hearings thus far, and for him to respond to issues that have been raised by other witnesses and that he must deal with. Then we have further submissions on the 6th of February. On the 7th of February, I need some clarity. It says submission by evidence leaders on evidence presented to the committee. We are unsure, and I've raised this with Mkhwanazi. We're unsure whether this means that on the 7th we are expected to actually present a report on the evidence presented by all the witnesses, and to reference that with the terms of reference. That's going to be obviously not impossible, but highly unlikely. We still await all the transcripts. Thus far, we've only received the October 2025 transcripts. We haven't received November, December, and also I think it should be self-evident from the program that's before you unless one or two of our team takes off completely from hearings and just concentrate on drafting a report. We won't be able to get a report in by the 7th. We would request at least 5 to 7 days to go through all the evidence and prepare a draft report, and then for the committee to spend perhaps also 4 or 5 days deliberating on that report. So we would request some clarity on that. I think, Chair, that is my report for you and the Honourable Committee this morning. Thank you.
Andile.
Yes, Chair. Yes, Chairperson. Council has just presented his bit of the report, and I think Nico will come in to talk about public submissions. Over to you, Nico. I see that the Chairperson.
Okay, can we take the next item?
With your leave, Chairperson, we can proceed unless you want members to first interact with what Advocate Arens has raised.
Yeah, I want us to move to the next.
Nicolette?
Good morning. Thank you, honorable members, once again. I'm going to do a short presentation on the public submissions that will be heard by the committee. Honorable members, we did a review of the initial list presented to the committee. The revision is focused on that we just have lived experiences from that was submitted by individuals from the public, and that's in keeping with the constitutional mandate of Parliament. We are proposing to exclude individuals on the right to reply, rebuttal, or reputational defense. Honourable members, this is because the right to reply principle only kicks in once an adverse finding is made in the committee's report. Then they will have a right to reply. But a person's name just being mentioned during hearings does not automatically trigger the right to reply. Honourable members, the submissions from civil society will remain the same as presented previously and agreed to by the committee, and that their time will be limited to 40 minutes each, and then will be followed by engagements with the organizations by members. Moving on, honourable members, the reviewed list of individuals include 12 people. So only 3 initial submissions or individuals has been or was excluded from the list, and these are mostly based, as I mentioned earlier, on the right to reply and rebuttal from witnesses or names being mentioned during the committee. These are the names that we are suggesting that will be selected for oral presentation to the committee. Then, honourable members, regarding the format, duration, and sworn statements, it is proposed that civil society organisations will not be required to submit sworn statements because their submissions are based on research. It is further recommended that individuals invited from public submissions be engaged as public participants for the purposes of sharing lived experiences and not as primary witnesses whose evidence is formally led by counsel. Their participation is intended to contextualize the written submissions received by the committee and assist in identifying systemic issues relevant to the mandate of the inquiry. And that's also, as I mentioned, really focused on lived experiences by members of the public. It is further recommended that all such participants be required to submit sworn written statements in advance, limited to matters within scope of the inquiry, in order to strengthen the integrity of the process and ensure that oral engagements remain focused on the mandate on our mandate. Lastly, honourable members, we again recommend that these submissions, oral presentations, be limited to a certain time frame, and it is suggested between 40 minutes or an hour, and this will ensure equitable treatment of witnesses so that we don't have one witness testifying for an extended period while others with a shorter presentation will be limited. So, honourable members, having full respect and due regard for the terms of reference, it is recommended that we meet virtually with public submissions, and that this does not automatically diminish the importance and weight of meetings on public participation. The proposed meeting dates are on Monday, the 26th of January, for civil society presentations, and then on Friday, the 30th of January, for individuals, followed by another meeting on Friday, the 6th of February. And as soon as the dates are confirmed, we will immediately engage with the participants and inform them of the invitation to engage with the committee and the scheduled date and time. Members, that is it from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nicolette. You are I can see that you are suggesting dates there. Can we have the slide on the dates remaining on the screen? You are suggesting the dates on which the civil society organizations must be heard, and the suggestion is that it must be next week, Monday, the 26th of January, and then Friday, the 30th of January, and Friday, the 6th of February. I think the Fridays will be good for members. And then you also suggest that the meetings must be virtual. So this is going to be integrated on the timetable that the senior council has just presented. And I can see that there is no clash of dates between what you are proposing here and the senior council. So it shows that there has been an interaction amongst yourselves. I'm going to take the two presentations for discussion, but just to say, maybe even before we go to discuss the report that the senior council has given about Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. Mr. Paul O'Sullivan is not only saying he is requesting to appear virtually. Mr. Paul O'Sullivan is insulting the Parliament of the Republic, calling it a criminal parliament, and has even made very, very serious allegations. He went on to cast aspersions on members of this parliament and members of this committee, accusing them of aiding criminal conspiracies to take his life. But he even goes on to call them criminals. And I don't think that it's something that we can take our attention off it. But he further says, even if I was coming to appear virtually before you, I will not recognize members of the MKP. I won't recognize members of the EFF. I won't recognize members of the Action SA. So I just felt that I must emphasize those points even before we go to discussions on the two items. What I will do, honorable members, let's discuss the items in this way. Let's deal with the timetable as proposed, number one. When members speak, let's separate the issues. Speak on the timetable, and the timetable is inclusive. You can start by saying, on the timetable includes the reappearance of General Patani. It includes the proposed reappearance of General Mkhwanazi. Members can say, look, this is our view on the timetable up to the 6th of February. Number two, there is this proposal on civil society presentations, which does not clash with what has been presented on the timetable. The only issue may be the Monday of the 26th of February, which members normally use for traveling or for political party activities. They can express themselves on that. And then the third item will then be the item on the attitude of, okay, let me say the report that we get on Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. If we can discuss those matters in that way. Okay? Are we ready for rotation, honorable members? The ANC.
No, thank you very much, Chair. Good morning to you and good morning to all colleagues and everybody that has joined and following the discussion of the ad hoc committee. Chair, let me start with the timetable and the dates. The first thing that we would like to propose is that the Monday 26, we would like to suggest that we consider a different date as opposed to that Monday the 26th for the following reasons. That beside that is a constituents day. Mondays are like that, but also I know from the point of view of the African National Congress that we have a constituents work on that particular day, which might conclude around lunchtime. Now, if the day was meant to be used in its entirety, from morning to the afternoon, we might have a challenge. But if it is possible for the day to be used, let's say from around 1 until late, on our side, we can find a way to accommodate at least a few of our members to attend and participate. I'm saying that cognizant of the fact that usually we all travel to Cape Town on Monday evenings, but if there's no other way, I think we can find a way to compromise. If the session is starting around 1 o'clock and it can finish whatever time late, and then we'll have to make our plans to take flights on Tuesday morning to rush for the Pahlana reappearance, which is on the 27th on Tuesday. And of course, because we usually start at 11, it should not be difficult for us to take early flights to catch up with that hearing on Tuesday. That's the first point I want to make. But of course, it's subject to I'm looking at our own timetable, and I'm very much alive to the fact that all political parties have their own timetable through which they are going to discuss the matter. The second issue is that we support the 30th, that Friday 30th, which has been chosen. And I think we may need to appeal to all of us, to approach that Friday differently, or this could be one of the Fridays we approach differently, because usually we use Fridays to travel. And I think that given the commitment we had made, that at some point we may have to even use a weekend or weekends, I think we should treat that Friday in that way, to try as much as possible that we stay the course, all of us, without rushing to flights, or at least the majority of us in the committee remain up until the end of business, so that we avoid a situation where at the time of the end of the proceedings, majority of us are no longer there. It doesn't occur well, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, that Friday is virtual, Chief Whip.
Oh, it's virtual. Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's virtual.
Okay, no, thanks. The second proposal that we would like to put to the meeting, Chairperson. Now I'm looking at when we are listening to the JMPD Chief Julius Mkhwanazi, Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi. Colleagues, we are influenced by the fact that like some of the witnesses who have appeared before us, who have seen Mkhwanazi in action, when he was Julius Mkhwanazi in action, when he was with the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. We do want to make a proposal to this meeting, if it can be permissible, that rather than spending 2 full days on the man, why don't we make an undertaking to start with him on a Thursday? I think it's a Thursday, that 20th, if I'm not mistaken, Chair. But anyway, I'm just thinking that I think it's a Thursday. But to start with
yes,
him,
you are right. It's a Thursday.
Yes, why can't we start with Mkhwanazi on Thursday, and maybe earlier, 9 o'clock, and we run with him until midnight, in the same way that we once have done it. I think it was Minister Mkhunu, or it was, but one of the generals, if not Minister Mkhunu. We were able to take up until very late in that evening. Because I do suspect that it would not be difficult for us to achieve our objectives, having worked with him over 1 day. I don't think it will be like Pahlane, where it's quite clear with Pahlane that we needed more time so that we can process his submission. So we would like to propose that, if possible, let's consider having Mkhwanazi over 1 day, and we drag him until midnight. Now, in an event where we agree on that, Chair, the Friday 21st can also be made available as a possibility if the team can organize any of the sessions, including the one that is, for instance, is planned for Monday, to be done on Friday. I know that the difficulty may be that that's the day when colleagues and honorable members are traveling. But I'm just leave what we can do with that Friday. Maybe let me not go to what we do with that Friday, even if it remains without any active activity of the committee. But we want to propose that we take 1 day with Mr. Julius Mkhwanazi and run throughout with him until midnight. The rest of the other dates and the proposed people to engage with us, that sequence of civil servants, civil society, and all of those, well, we think that that should be fine, Chairperson. We can do with that. The last issue on the schedule, did you say we must comment on Mr. Paul O'Sullivan? Or should we speak on that later?
The committee has a decision on that he must be subpoenaed. But when you feel the attitude that he's expressing,
okay,
I just felt that the committee must express itself on the attitude of the witness.
Okay. Maybe before I conclude with that one, Chair, then I see that we're seeing Mr. Brown Mkhwanazi on the 29th and 30th, if the schedule I'm looking at is the one which is correct. But I also remember that on the 30th, there is something suggested other than Mr. Mkhwanazi. Should I assume that the proposal is for us to see Mr. Mkhwanazi for 1 day as opposed to 2 days? If that is the intention with regard to the earlier proposal, we also don't see any problem with that, as long as our attitude would be as we're proposing on Mr. Julius Mkhwanazi, that we start early and we drag them through right into the evening. I'm saying that because I think I saw somewhere where the 30th is proposed for a session of individuals or something. I can't remember what did I see on the 30th. But if the intention is that we have Mkhwanazi for 1 day, we don't have a problem. But if it's me who's mistaken, Mkhwanazi remains as 2 days, we also do not have an objection to that, as we will not mind even if we deal with Mkhwanazi over 1 day. We're flexible on that as the African National Congress. Lastly, and not least, Chair, is the issue of Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. When I read the emails that he wrote to Parliament and telling us that he doesn't want to be engaged with the EFF, he doesn't want to be engaged with Action SA and the MK Party, it was quite clear that we are dealing with an individual who's treating Parliament with serious contempt. And we don't believe that as the African National Congress, we should allow a private citizen to undermine the Parliament of the Republic to that extent. And we are very convinced that the position we adopted earlier on as a committee shall be sustained, which is that the man has to be called physically before the ad hoc committee to explain his role in the security environment of the South African Police Service. And we will not accept any excuse, as he has said it in those emails, about his security and that we want to organize him to be murdered and all that nonsense he's talking about. So we are very clear that the committee position on the matter must be sustained and the man must be invited to appear before the committee. And Chair, we would like to, I want to leave this maybe for us to exercise our minds about. I know that our term of office is ending on the 20th of February, and I do hope that we're going to meet that deadline. I think it's important that we meet that deadline. But in a situation where we get into that point, and Mr. Paul O'Sullivan is not back overseas, as he claimed to be away, 10,000 kilometers away from the Republic of South Africa, I think we will have to decide and go to Parliament to say to Parliament, here is the report of our work. We believe that report is going to be helpful for portfolio committees and Parliament itself to discharge its responsibilities on the matters we are required to investigate. But we may need to ask Parliament to allow us to make a supplemental submission later on when we have succeeded to have Mr. Paul O'Sullivan appearing before us. It's important that it does. He has been a central player And from what we've heard, being very negative in the work of the South African Police Service. And I think it would be a traverse of justice if we do not succeed to have him before us. Whether we have him tomorrow or we have him at any time, even after the deadline of Parliament. It's a matter that I think Parliament will have to discuss and agree that yes, your term has ended, we need the report, here is the report, but we can't agree that somebody like that, somebody can undermine Parliament to the extent that the man has done. Thanks, Chair. I hope I've covered all the issues that we were supposed to comment on, and my apology for being longer. If any of my colleagues would like to make an addition, they will indicate through you. Thanks.
If you can just clarify the last point for everyone to understand you properly, you are suggesting that in the event, once we embark on the process to subpoena the witness and the time runs out, we should be able to advise Parliament to say we may need some time to deal with the appearance of this witness until, and then once we have done that, we can come back to Parliament to report. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Chair, that's correct. That's my firm proposal that we should not allow a situation where we are unable to conclude and submit our report before or by the 20th of February. But I think we will have to make a firm proposal to Parliament and give the evidence as it appears before us now that we still would like to get an opportunity at the time at which the legal processes will be concluded for us to win over that the man must come before us. We should be allowed that opportunity. So that's my firm proposal. But I think we should not allow him to let us play through his own game where our committee's work is extended endlessly. I think let's have our time frame as it is and not interrupted by his conduct. But as soon as we win the battle against him, Parliament should allow us to deal with the matter relating to him. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much. If any further speaker from the ANC.
Chair, the application by Paul Sullivan to appear virtually is declined with immediate effect. Thank you.
Honorable Ngola.
Chair, I'm saying the application by Mr. Paul O'Sullivan to appear virtually is declined with immediate effect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's move to the MKP.
Thank you very much, Chair, and greetings to members of the committee and everyone who's part of this meeting. I think, Chair, let's start by engaging the proposition that has been made by the Chief Whip with regards to the testimony of Julius Mkhwanazi on Thursday. Our view on this one, Chair, is that it will depend on the volume of the statement that will be returned by the witness, or because I think the testimony of General Patlana is a good event to make a reference on. We anticipated 1 day, and then we realized that he had later, after making a determination of a time frame, we then realized that it was impossible to conclude both his testimony and the interviews within the agreed time frame. So if maybe the legal team can guide us, if they already have the statement, but I think they said they are still going to consult with the witness. So if the witness does allow the committee to deal, and without any rush, to deal with the testimony, which will be inclusive of the evidence, leaders' time and our time for questions, then we will agree. We won't have a problem, but we must not unreasonable rush things because we want to complete our program within the twinkle of an eye. But if the statement is big, then we must allow 2 days, because we don't want the witness that will come here to this committee and later raise a complaint that they were not afforded enough time to adduce their evidence and to express whatever concerns and information they have in relation to our terms of reference. So that is our position on that proposition. Then also, Chair, on the list that have been proposed here, before we even go to dates, time frames, and so on, I think Honorable Shongwe, in a form of a question, has raised a concern indirectly that we have, that there is a list that we once agreed upon as this committee, which had various categories. So where is that list? Where is that list now? Maybe I missed the meeting which sat and reviewed the list and ultimately agreed on the list that has been presented to us now. It's difficult for us at this stage to take a conclusive position on the issue of the list that has been proposed to be the outstanding names that should appear before this committee. Reason being is that I think part of this agenda there is an item which talks about a report about the NPA and so on. There are prosecutors who were implicated by some of the witnesses who have appeared before this committee. And Batoi alone is not adequate to give us direction in that regard. For instance, there is a prosecutor who was adversely implicated, I think, if my memory serves me well, by Nkabinde, who said that he unfairly withdrew charges against Paul O'Sullivan. And for us to probe that further, it doesn't need an external resource. Notwithstanding that we support a call made by the EFF for an external resource, but that aspect alone doesn't need an external resource. We can, using our own resources at our disposal at the moment, probe it further by asking for a docket, checking who was the prosecutor, and see if really it will be necessary for us to call that prosecutor to come and appear before this committee. So I'm saying, Chair, we are really, our great concern is that the focus has solely been on the SAPS. We have overlooked the NPA, we have overlooked calling Batoi, and Batoi for that matter didn't help us with anything. Was not enough, because Batoi was an evasive witness. He was denying everything. He was, pleading ignorance to everything. So there is nothing that Batoi helped us with. So there is a need to take matters deeper, and I think we have missed that opportunity, and we continue to miss that opportunity as this committee. With regards to Paul O'Sullivan, well, I think, Chair, or before I go to Paul O'Sullivan, Chair, I think also the senior counsel, it doesn't appear well and professional when members of this committee, or when we as members of this committee are having confrontations with the senior counsel. But sometimes it is inevitable, especially when members feel that they need to help the process. But I think it can be avoided, Chair. What happened last time with regards to us arguing about what can be probed and what can be said by the witness that appeared before us and what cannot be said, I think it was General Pahlani, could have been avoided if the consultation between the senior counsel or our legal team and our witness was effective and accurate. In this sense, Chair, our understanding is that the part of what must be done by the senior counsel during consultations is to guide witnesses on the relevant content that can be accommodated in the statements, and the guiding factors around that are the terms of reference. Is the terms of reference. So we don't understand when a witness comes to a committee with 168 pages statement, and the majority of its content is absolutely peripheral. And then members will be triggered to intervene during the course of testimony upon realizing that some of the evidence is irrelevant. And unfortunately, you can't intervene at that time because already the statement has been written, already the witness has taken oath. So, and already members have read the statement, because once you put something on the statement and for us to read before we interview the witness, we're going to interrogate the witness based on what he has written on the statement, because it's part of the statement. You can't overlook things which, whether relevant or irrelevant, but the fact of the matter is that it is now part of the statement and it has been signed under oath. So if our legal team can maybe improve in that regard, Chair, we will be very happy. And it can maybe address the request that, or the proposal that the ANC has made through its chief whip to have Julius Mkhwanazi for 1 day on Thursday. Because if they stick on the terms of reference and not expand the statement beyond necessary, I think we're not going to have a very long statement which contains irrelevant information. So, Chair, we are saying our final position is that it's really difficult to make a conclusive position or determination, especially with regards to names that are yet to appear, considering the fact that we are still waiting for the report, for an update on the report of the NPA that will be given here, because we believe that these names are not enough. And also, the committee must, at the back of its mind, bear a possibility that the witnesses that will appear, the witnesses that are now on the list here, and public submissions might trigger an invitation of other people who have not been called before this committee as yet. And if such happens, then a room for such must be opened. So I'm saying that's a possibility, Chair, that we must brace ourselves for. That when witnesses come here and adversely implicate some of the names, then we might have to consider reviewing this list, and we might consider doing other invitations for other people to come and appear. For now, that is our submission, Chair. Thank you.
You have forgotten the point on O'Sullivan.
Oh, yes. No. On Paul O'Sullivan, Chair, our position is very clear. We can't be the ones who assist Paul O'Sullivan in undermining the authority of Parliament. So we must use every available mechanism to bring him physically to the committee. We can't be found wanting. The legal team must assist us with all the available legal mechanisms that can be used. And it must happen within the twinkling of an eye. We can't delay any further, Chair, because already he has shown a sign of refusal. So our legal team must attend to it expeditiously. Thank you.
And then, given the points that you have raised here, but because you say that we may not speak conclusively on the timetable, but the proposals that are being made here, do you note them and accept them?
We note the proposal, Chair, and we reserve our right to accept at this stage. Chair, we are waiting at least for the report.
I understand what you are saying, that, but for instance, there is a proposal on the appearance of this week.
Yes.
That we must have McBride coming, we must have Julius Mkhwanazi coming.
Who are supporting
and there is also a proposal on the date that Patani must come back and General Mkhwanazi must come back.
Who are supporting those, Chair.
Yeah, but you have issues to say.
Yes.
Let's work and finalize the list of witnesses. But in the meantime, the report that comes here on those proposals, we accept it.
Correct. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Can I check if we still have anybody from the MKP who wants to speak?
Thank you, Chair.
The honourable member can
Thank
just
you,
go
Chair.
ahead. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Yeah,
Honourable
indeed.
Honourable
Yes.
Skosana, just listen. I earlier indicated that I'll be driving to the airport. So in case there are members who want to speak, when your party speaks, once the first speaker from your party is done, you can just indicate, my hand is also up. And
Thank
then
you.
you will be. Now is your time, Honorable Skosana.
Thank you, Chair. And good morning to my colleagues. I think the Honorable Nomvalo has already said it all we thought from the MK party we will make a contribution. But I want to add, and the Chief Whip as well has said mouthfully, we support in terms of what O'Sullivan wants. We should never agreed on what O'Sullivan wants us to do. You know, I think we have Interpol, we've got laws in this country which we can make sure that he appears before us, even if it's after. But we need to have also O'Sullivan. Otherwise, it will undermine, this committee. But I just wanted to say this, Chair, to say that the issue of the list, we need to add the list. Remember, we have, like the Honorable Nomvalo has already said, that it should not be only about police. We have prosecutors. I've made names, like Honorable Shongwe said earlier as well. Tyler Shabalala is one of those ones, the prosecutor. And I think the names of the judge, I'll give names as well. Unfortunately, one judge has passed on, I'm told, but there are those ones who are still alive. We are not ashamed of doing that, because this committee was set based on that. That is a joint committee of justice and police. So we will definitely make an addition in terms of the list. I guess that we reserve that for now, because we think that we gave names as well, and I think we should have the judiciary appearing before us in the name of the judges and prosecutors. I thank you, Chair.
Yeah, that item is the last item on the agenda, Honorable Skosana. Remember the last time you requested that we must give you an opportunity to present today. We are going to ask for that opportunity. Is there? The item is there.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Shongwe, anything? Okay, we are going to move to the Democratic Alliance.
Morning, Chair. Thank you, and good morning to everybody. Yeah, we have no difficulties with any of the issues raised. I have a difficulty with the 6th of February as a date. I have a personal engagement that I can't get out of, but that doesn't matter. Everyone else will be present. We agree with the general discussion, Chair, of all the points raised. I'm not going to go through them all and repeat what everyone has said. Apart from O'Sullivan, Chair, I have no difficulty with the members wanting him here in person, and I don't object to it, and I don't wish to say anything about it. All I'm saying, we need to be a little bit careful. If we force him to come and he does get assassinated, we will have to deal with that fallout. But I have no objection to members wanting him to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are you the only speaker from the DA, Honorable Breitenbach?
Yes, Chair, the DI speaks with one voice.
The DA speaks with one voice. Thank you so much for using the time frugally. May we proceed to the economic freedom fighters.
Yes, thank you, Chair. In terms of the program, the dates that have been presented, we are in agreement with it, and we're also not opposed to what Honourable Ntuli recommended on or made proposals in terms of the actual program. What we vehemently opposed to, Chair, is this thing of having virtual, with having our witnesses virtually, both the public submissions and the civil society. We were very, very clear when we started this that we do not want virtual meetings. Now, I understand that we are at the last leg of this committee, and perhaps we're tired of always getting to Cape Town and staying in there late. But as members of Parliament, this is a very important ad hoc committee. The entire country is watching us, and we need to make sure that the work that we produce is the best work we possibly can. And doing it virtually is not it. We know, even now in these meetings, people are cutting out. We can't produce that quality of work, not for these hearings that we are doing. So we really oppose, and we really want to press on all members of the committee that all our hearings of any submissions must be done, and it must be done physically. Chair, on the issue of Paul O'Sullivan, obviously he must be summoned. And the process must start immediately, and we not wait until lastminute.com. We reserve our right on whether and maybe we just need to be spoken to or explain how the supplementary report will work. If we conclude and then we do a supplementary report. I mean, it was quite interesting that in his letter he says he's had planned a holiday even before the committee had started, and he didn't indicate that in the beginning when we first engaged him. And then coincidentally, he's only available, or his holiday ends after when we are due to submit our report. So I find that very interesting. But outside of that, Chair, we submit a report and then we do a supplementary report. It's like the entire initial report will change. I mean, as it's been pointed out, that he's come up pretty much. I don't even know how many witnesses have not mentioned his name. So I think his testimony is going to be impactful on the actual our final report anyway. So I don't know how the supplementary report will work, and we're not opposed to it, but we would just need clarity on how that will work. And the danger is also that he ends up being left off the hook. So we say we're going to do a supplementary report, then we are given the runaround also by Parliament, and we never ever sit. And it's not something that hasn't happened before. So those are also things that we are very conscious about. With the witness list, we also raised this in our last administrative meeting, that we need to have some level of flexibility, because as we hear in testimony, we are definitely there's going to be those one or two people that we might need to come and appear. So I don't want us that we conclude and that it's just final. Then on the public submissions, I see that there was a presentation that we must allocate 40 minutes. It's gone up from the 15 minutes. We're not opposed to that also. But Chair, I think we must not be too stringent on time because there might be just some information that is very important. We can't cut witnesses off just mid-sentence because the time has expired. And so let's also just keep that in mind, that we keep that. But as members of the committee, also in our engagement, we must just be cognitive because sometimes I do think we ask questions that might not necessarily be speaks directly to our terms of reference or is going to assist us. I think I've answered everything, Chair. I've covered everything that we need to cover. You will guide me if there's something that's missing or that the EFF hasn't addressed.
Yeah. I want to check the proposals that are being made on the appearances of this week. You agree?
Oh, yes, definitely. Oh, I did leave one thing out. We have scheduled Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi for the 5th of February, and then we have public submissions after that. I think the date for him must be literally, he should be our last reappearance of a witness. So scheduling him, and then we have witnesses after that. I don't think it's a sound decision, because there might be something that comes up through the submissions of witnesses and then that he might need to respond to. So that was the other proposal, that we might not even schedule him at the moment and see when we get closer to finalizing our witness list.
Okay. And then you are also speaking very strongly against virtual hearings.
Yes, Chair, I think we are just, I understand where members are coming from, but I think we're deteriorating the quality of work we are doing as an ad hoc committee by doing virtual, taking witnesses virtually. And given the fact that when we started and when we were engaging on the format of this, we were very clear that we are not taking any witnesses virtually. And now we as members of the committee are even proposing that we bring the public and civil society in virtually. It's wrong.
Okay. I think the meeting hears your concern. We will come back to that one and rotate it and hear what is the take of the meeting on a virtual appearance of civil society and the public submissions. Is that all you wanted to say, Honorable Marquez?
Yes, Chair, and the EFF is.
Did you speak on the Paul O'Sullivan matter?
Oh, yes, we're very clear about that. We have been. He must be summoned, and the summons process must start immediately. I don't think we need to be continuously engaging him and inviting him. He must be summoned. We must move into that process. He's been. He has started with the committee even during when we had witnesses before us, and we've tolerated his nonsense for way too long. As an ad hoc committee, as Parliament, enough is enough. He must be summoned.
Oh, okay. Can we move to the Ingata Freedom Party?
Chair, you might have not seen it on the WhatsApp group. Honorable Mngango has reported that he's in the party commitment until 12 o'clock.
Okay, thank you so much for that reminder. The Patriotic Alliance.
Well, thank you, Chair.
Honorable Swords.
Thank you, Chair. Can you hear me?
I hear you very loud and clearly.
Thank you, Chair, and greetings to the members. On the week's program, we agree with the proposal, including the one of the 1 day for General Julius Mkhwanazi. I'm not sure if his rank is general, but the chief, Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi, we agree with the 1 day. With regard to Paul O'Sullivan, I think it's very important that we speak as one on this issue, and I think we've done so thus far. And Mr. O'Sullivan must understand that when he speaks of one of us, he speaks of all of us. There's no separation. And this strategy to nullify the legal weight of our proceedings by making it look like there are sides rather than a non-partisan approach of all of us seeking to find the truth. We must squash that immediately because that perception is very dangerous, to make it look like that there are some favorable to a particular narrative and others not. We must always maintain the disposition that we are all seeking to find the truth without having chosen a side. So we stand with the position that Mr. O'Sullivan must appear before us physically, and then we must not be emotional or appear to be emotional. We must always be impartial. So, as a matter of procedure and principle, is the reason why we want O'Sullivan to come physically, because in our terms of reference, that has been the default or standard, except for exceptional circumstances. And that the definition of exceptional circumstances is subjective, and we have the right to interpret that, not the witness. So it is not because it is Paul O'Sullivan, it is because procedurally and as a matter of principle, we want our witnesses to come, the witnesses to come physically. And if that is our position, then we must not appear to be emotional then. We must then remain impartial and then emphasize the same approach for everyone. Therefore, we agree with the position that the public submission should therefore then also, as a priority, be physical and not virtual, because that's a matter of procedure and principle in terms of our terms of reference. Otherwise, if we say no, submissions can be virtually, then we are coming across as we are now just as an issue of ego and trying to show or throw around weight. We want O'Sullivan to come physically, but that's not what we're doing. So let's show that's not what we're doing. By having public submissions must be physical, Paul O'Sullivan must be physical because it is a matter of procedure and principle of the committee. And then definitely agree with the fact that the public submission can't be after General Mkhwanazi. General Mkhwanazi should be the last witness. We would also like to propose that after the last witness, before General Mkhwanazi, that there is at least 1 or 2 days in between before the last appearance, so that we can consolidate all the submissions that we've heard, and then of course come on the last day and conclude with General Mkhwanazi based on everything that we've heard for the past few months. That is a proposal, and then the last proposal on that is also that on that last appearance of the main witness, the primary witness, General Mkhwanazi, Chair, that we please then also revert back to the model of cross-examination that we had at the beginning, where we receive an allocated time, but the responses of the witness does not eat into the time allocated to the member who is questioning. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Salt. Honorable James.
Good morning, Chair. I'm not going to belabor this matter. As Action SA, we support the proposal by the Chief Whip for the upcoming week, and also to only have 1 day for the JMPD officer, Chief Mkhwanazi. We can do him in 1 day and maybe just start earlier. On Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, I think this committee has been clear for a very long time. And I'm actually just taken aback at the fact that by now we haven't started the process to subpoena him to Parliament. I think that should have been something we should have done and started a long time ago, because we had already agreed it's not the first time that we are addressing this matter. Also, with regards to General Mkhwanazi appearing, when he appears, I want to ask, what is the actual intention and what is the actual reason? What is it that we want to hear from him at the end of this entire process? Are we specific? Are we going to probe certain things that we need clarity on? Or are we just simply calling him back to give his opinion and his finding on all the witness statements and all the witnesses that has appeared before us? I ask this because we call General Mkhwanazi back to the committee again. He opens up a new can of worms, and where does that leave us? So I want to ask the intention of calling him back. What do we actually want to see? What is the outcome from that testimony? And I think that's it from my side. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Can I say that the general agreement of the committee is that we should call him back, and then maybe towards that appearance, the question that you have raised, Honorable James, will be answered, because it's not a new decision; it's a decision which members have made some time ago. At the time we approached the date of appearance, let's come and agree on an approach. How do we want to approach that meeting? I think the legal team can help us to formulate. But what I hear you saying, honorable members, is that the proposals which have been made here on the appearances of witnesses and members of civil society, with respect to the dates the members agree with. Of course, there are some amendments that the members have expressed with regard to the number of days, but in case of witness Mkhwanazi from Ekurhuleni, that he may not be allocated Thursday and Friday. But generally, members agree that let him appear on Friday, and there has also been a suggestion that maybe we can start a bit earlier on that Thursday, so that where possible we finish on that night. And then there has also been a suggestion that Monday may have to be reconsidered, the 26th of January. I think the technical team will go and look at that and look for other suitable dates. And members say, look, we note and accept the report that is being given here, but we want to state it here that this must not be regarded as final, because we will continue to discuss witnesses, and where we agree on new witnesses, let's find a way how we bring them onto the timetable. If I heard you properly, Honorable Nombalo, and then Honorable Matthijs has said, in as much as we accept this, we are also saying that it is our decision that we have agreed that we are going to use virtual appearances under exceptional circumstances, and she strongly feels that we may not have to make civil society and public submission appearances virtual, but that they should be physical. It's something that we we said we will rotate with the committee and hear if they are persuaded to physical appearances. And then lastly, on Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, the committee is very clear that he should physically come before this committee. And then that further that the committee reject any tendency that seeks to treat this committee as a separate political parties when it's a collective of parliament. So there is no way in which a witness can say, I'm going to appear before you, but I will not recognize so and so. In fact, it's a contempt of parliament and its own processes, if one has to paraphrase what the chief whip has said. So, honorable members, can I come back to you and hear what your views are on the proposal that we can't have virtual, or that we must not opt for virtual appearances with regard to civil society and public submissions. I'm starting with the African National Congress.
No, thanks, Chair. Oh, sorry.
You may
Go ahead,
continue.
Comrade Hussein.
You may
No,
continue.
go ahead. Must I continue?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd rather add if there's something. Thank you. Sorry
No,
about
right.
that.
I thought you are not back as our principal leader in this discussion. No. Thanks, Chair. Chair, just before we can take a firm position on the matter, I fully understand the concerns raised by Honorable Matheus in this regard. I get the point, because sometimes when we take certain proceedings virtually and others not virtually, we send an unintended message about the ranking or the seriousness with which we're taking certain witnesses as opposed to others. And I'm much more conscious of the fact that as this committee, we should never appear in that light in the eyes of the public. I just want to check how many days are required for us to deal with these other processes other than the witnesses. If you can remind me, Chair, because I want to make a proposal. I just want to know, I remember 2 days were suggested. Those are the only days that are required for that purpose. That's my question.
The suggestion which is being made here is that for you to cover all of them, you will need 3 days.
Or we will need 3 days.
Yeah, it may be 1 day for the civil society. There are 6 of them. You can allocate an hour each. And then there are 2 days proposed for public submissions. I think they can also be treated as such. You can break them into 2 halves of 6 each, and then allocate each one an hour per day.
Okay. If my reading of what was here is anything to go by, Chair, then I want to suggest that to accommodate that concern, we continue with the 30th, but we do it in person, not physical, which is a Friday, 30th. That's number one. Number two, I was also going to suggest that we take the Monday of the 2nd of February as the second day at which we can do them in person as well. I know Mondays are difficult for most of us, but I think in the light of the point that one was raising earlier on, even if not all of us are there, some sacrifices will have to be made on some of the days. Because as Honorable Matheus was speaking, what was ringing in my mind was what could be the way in which the population read us or interpret us in relation to having to deal with their own matters virtually, as opposed to our insistence on other witnesses appearing in person. So my humbly proposal is that if you remember, Chair, even the 26th I had said is fine. As the African National Congress, were fine with it, but we would prefer that It starts in the afternoon, but it might not be workable. So now that we're talking about physical, let me just discard it because I was talking about it in the light of the proposal for virtual. Now, if we can agree to take the 30th and take the 2nd of February, which is a Monday, and then I would suggest that we also take the Saturday, the 7th of February, and that will conclude, in my own view, if I'm wrong, I'm right, the hearings that are supposed to be dealt with the public. That's the proposal I want to make. But of course, Chair, as I stand down, please note that Honorable Sangon is our supreme leader. She said she's going to make a decision. She might override that proposal. Thanks.
Okay, maybe even before she comes in, let's also think of the days that we have allocated for Paul O'Sullivan in case our processes to get him here at that time have not been concluded, or it's not possible to have him on those days. It may be possible to have him on those days. It may not be possible, but in case it's not possible, I think we can also use those days profitably. Honorable Sangoni.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. I'm not the supreme leader, but we also speak in one voice. No, I am in agreement with the Chief Whip broadly, Honorable Chairperson. I think the issue of dates, without necessarily committing to the dates, maybe that is some work that the Parliament staff can just help with to see what works, including your proposal of the day when Mr. O'Sullivan was supposed to appear. My one concern, Honourable Chair, while fully supporting the sentiment raised by Honourable Mateis, is the cost of travel. Who is going to bear the cost of travel for the individuals in particular? I'm sure civil society, they seem to be very well resourced. They would be able to transport themselves. But can we then just factor in the cost implication as we take the decision around virtual meetings? But we support the principle. I just want us to be mindful of cost, Chair, and it must play a role. We had said right at this at the beginning of this committee that we would want to keep costs as low as possible. But if it has been the norm that we're paying for all witnesses, well, this is what, maybe another 20 witnesses or so. I'm not sure if it's something that we are going to be able to cross over the line that easily. But thank you, Chair. We are in agreement as per the input by the Chief Whip. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sangoni. Do you still have any speaker from the ANC? If you can confirm.
No additional speakers, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the MKP.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. Actually, you've read our mind, Chair. We're going to make a similar proposal that we consider, because the possibility is that Paul O'Sullivan won't appear. So we will have those days open. So let's make use of them. We agree with, we are sharing the same sentiments with Honorable Mateis, that let's treat all witnesses equally. And also with regards to the issue of cost, which Honorable Sangoni is raising, Chair, I think if we've been paying, I think she has actually concluded it very well to say if we've been paying costs for other witnesses who have appeared before us, let's maintain the same gesture, because we can't send a wrong perception, because most of public submissions maybe are made, or some are made by people who are unemployed. So, and they are in a less better position than the position of the witnesses who have come before this committee, because most of them are working in SAPs, some are bosses and so on. But I guess we've been taking a responsibility of their costs. I remember when we were talking, Chair, you narrated the story of Mary Diaz, who was booked for by Parliament. He slept in an accommodation booked by Parliament. So we can't now, when we're dealing with members of the public, change our approach. So, Chair, let members come unless there are exceptional circumstances, as it is entailed in our terms of reference. Let them come physically and give their testimonies. Thank you.
Okay. Do we still have anybody from the MKP? Who wants to speak?
No, Chair, MK speaks in one voice sometimes. Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
May it
Thank
be
you.
all the time.
Thank you so much for learning from the Democratic Alliance. the, the DA.
Thanks, Chair. We're done. We've said what we want to say.
Okay, thank you so much. The EFF.
Chair, just on the issue, ours is on the issue of costs. And I think it's opportunism when we raise issues of costs on certain matters here and who's going to cover costs. There are a lot of other things going on in this country, and I keep coming back to it. We keep coming back to it, like the national dialogue, and Treasury has money for that. But something as critical as this, we must always be considering costs. We're already working currently as this committee on a very skeleton budget that is not even proper for the type of work that we should be doing. And we must also just be mindful that here in Parliament, this is where budgets are approved, where money is allocated, and it's not the other way around. So this is a very important issue. I don't think our public who have made submissions and have gone out of the way that it should even be something that must be discussed. The money must be made available. And as Parliament and as this committee, we must stop acting like beggars. We have this national dialogue going on. I wonder how all those that are participating in the dialogue, whether that question was asked by anybody there on who's paying for them to come there. No, and it's not a right question to ask. And their costs must be properly covered. And everything that is due and that we have afforded other witnesses must be done to them. Thank you, Chair.
I don't think that the issue of the cost was raised to say it must not happen, but just to say it's a matter which the committee must take into consideration that there are going to be costs that will be incurred. But the point that you raise is valid, that Parliament is responsible for public participation. And in as much as we run the public participation programs, they also have pecuniary implications. That is, I think both of you are right. You don't have to fight over it. So that when it is presented to the authorities, they must understand that it has financial implications. But of course, we can only be able to determine that when we know who comes from where. You may find that most of the witnesses come from the Western Cape, and there is no need to incur any cost except to deal with their traveling. Honorable Sols.
Chair, I stand by what I said earlier. Thank you.
Honorable James.
Thank you, Chair. I support the proposal by MP Mates that the members must come virtually. The witnesses needs to come virtually. Thank you.
Physically, not virtually.
Physically, yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, honorable members, for your inputs. We all agree that we must maintain the standard and have all witnesses appearing physically. I think they will have the understanding that they are being respected by this parliament, and there is enthusiasm on the part of parliament to listen to their issues without sending a message that parliament is listening to them whilst at the same time looking the other way. We will look for suitable days, like honorable members have said. If the days allocated for Sullivan is not possible for us to have him on those days, we can use them. And where we may need to use weekends, we can propose that in consultation with committee members. And where it is also possible to start proceedings in the afternoon, committee members will be consulted and hear their availability. So from here, we will go back and relook at the proposed timetable and how we can factor the dates for the appearance of public submission witnesses and civil society organizations. Thank you so much. Andile, can we then take the item on the NPA?
Good morning again, Chairperson, and good morning to honorable members and my colleagues. Chairperson, mine will just take 2 minutes because I think it's just a small issue. So what happened, Chair, is that as you recall, there was correspondence addressed from the committee regarding prosecution of cases or lack thereof relating to Mr. O'Sullivan. And Chairperson, you will agree to me that a letter dated the 17th of December 2025 was then sent to the committee. The case, Chair, was opened in Pretoria on the 12th of January 2017. And the charge sheet relates to charges of fraud, impersonating a member of IPIT, and 2 counts of extortion. Chairperson, the long and short of it is that the case was struck off the roll in terms of Section 342, capital A of the Criminal Procedure Act. This section, Chairperson, empowers courts to investigate and address unreasonable delays in criminal proceedings. This is aimed at protecting fair trial rights by considering factors like duration and reasons for the delay, blame for the delay, impact on the personal circumstances of the accused, prejudice, effect on the administration of justice, victims and the public. And of course, if delays are unreasonable, courts can issue orders to eliminate them, though this does not automatically grant a permanent stay of prosecution. The purpose of this, Chair, is to ensure that criminal trials proceed expeditiously and fairly, preventing indefinite delays that undermine justice and cause prejudice. And I think in this instance, the question then is, why has this matter been not re-enrolled? Because, Chairperson, this case dates back to 2017, and this decision to start it off the roll in terms of Section 342, capital A, was issued on the 8th of November 2017. So the issue, Chair, is for us, I think the prosecutors who were directly involved with this, with the prosecution of this matter, should be called before this committee to explain why 9 years has elapsed without this matter being re-enrolled. Thank you, Chairperson.
Can you come again on the recommendation you are making to the committee?
Okay, Chair, I'm saying the question, Chair, is why has this matter not been re-enrolled when a period of 9 years has elapsed, Chairperson, because the basis upon which it was struck off the roll was because of delays. In other words, it was in terms of Section 342, capital A of the Criminal Procedure Act. So I think the remedy is that the prosecutors who were responsible for this case, Chairperson, should be called to appear before this committee to explain why this matter has been left hanging for 9 years. Thanks, Chairperson.
Chair.
Hello?
Chairperson?
Yes.
Yes, Chair. No, I'm sorry for coming in this way. I feel that it is necessary that I come in this way. Chair, I just want to. I didn't hear properly when Andile was outlining the reasons for striking off the matter. He just said it's because of the delay. What does he mean? Delay of who or of what?
So what happened, Honorable Nomval, is that every time when this matter had to appear, this matter had to be adjudicated by the courts, the NPA would request a postponement. So basically what I'm saying is that it's delays from their part.
Chair, may I ask a question?
Let me check with Honorable Nomvalo first if he's happy with the response.
Yeah, no, what I hear, Chair, is that Andile is saying the NPA was delaying in court. It was asking for constant postponements, and the matter was therefore struck off because of that. I don't know if I heard it correctly.
Yeah, no, he confirms that you heard him properly. Honorable Breitenbach.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to know whether the matter was struck off due to the delays. 342 capital A makes provision for a variety of orders, and one of them is a permanent stay of prosecution due to an inordinate delay. So was this matter struck off with a permanent stay of prosecution, in which case it can never be re-enrolled? Now, I would just like to know what order was made. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Breitenbach. What they've done, they've merely given us a 2-page letter together with the copy of the docket. So what we can ascertain from the docket and from the letter as well is that the matter was not struck. The matter was not. There was no permanent stay of prosecution on it. So what the NPA did after the matter was struck off, the NPA on its own took a decision to hold over the decision to prosecute until the matter against General Pathan is finalized. And this is why I get lost, Chairperson, because I don't know the nexus between, because if you're looking at these charges independently, these charges, as I said, relate to fraud, impersonating members of the IPID, extortion, and then the decision by the NPA to say that we are deciding to hold over the decision to prosecute until the matter against General Pathan is finalized. That can be explained by the NPA itself, Honorable President Park. So it's clear from the correspondence and from the correspondence that there was no permanent stay of prosecution. Because paragraph 7 says the case was not withdrawn, but rather struck off the roll by the magistrate after an inquiry in terms of section 342 capital A of the Criminal Procedure Act. And then the last paragraph says, after the matter was struck off, a decision was made to hold over the decision to prosecute until the matter against General Pathan is finalized.
May I follow up, Chair?
You are allowed.
Thank you. Yeah, look, that doesn't help me at all, I must say. If the prosecution is in such disarray that a matter gets struck off in terms of Section 342A, I must say, in 26 years of prosecuting, I never had a matter struck off once in terms of 342A. So if you're in such disarray that your matter gets struck off, then I'm not prepared to rely upon the judgment of the prosecutor about why the matter was held over or whatever happened and it wasn't withdrawn. This is very clear, it wasn't withdrawn. If there was an application in terms of 342A, then it wasn't withdrawn, it was struck off. I want to know what the order was. The only place you will find that with any certainty is from the court documents. So we need to please get a transcript of that application. It's not hard to get, you just apply to the registrar of the relevant court.
Thanks,
Yeah. I'm now going to rotate the parties. Can you restate that recommendation again and delay on how this matter must be dealt with so that the parties know exactly what they engage?
All I'm saying, Chair, is that from the correspondence that has been sent to us, it is very clear that the matter was struck off the roll in terms of Section 342A of the Criminal Procedure Act. Now, what I'm saying, Chairperson, is that the people who are working on the case, itself, would be better positioned to explain, Chairperson, as to why, for instance, 9 years later, we still have this matter not having been re-enrolled, particularly in view of the fact that there was no permanent stay of prosecution.
So you're suggesting that the committee must get written responses from them, or must they be invited to appear before the committee?
Look, Chair, regarding the method...
Okay, no, it's fine. I think the committee hears the recommendation. It will be for members to decide what format it takes. If they agree to the recommendation. Can I start the rotation? African National Congress.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and let's thank Andile also for the report. Chair, I don't think we have a firm view on this one, and I think we are being persuaded by Honourable Breitenbach's questions, and I think the conclusions that she comes to. I would have thought that when we asked the committee staff to write to NPA, part of what we expected in those responses were the reasons for the delay. I'm not sure at this particular point how much we're going to be able to get from the prosecutors to just call them and say, why are the delays? Call them all the way to Parliament to say, why are the delays on the Paul O'Sullivan matter? Now, what I hear Honourable Breitenbach saying is that we need to get the court record so we understand what the issues are. And I think on the basis of that, we could write back to the NPA, given their initial correspondence, seeking written responses. I know that the appetite of the committee chair is always, to call, summon people to Parliament to explain. We are not opposed to that. We're just looking at, what is the most effective way of doing this. Would we want to spend a whole day, or even half a day, asking prosecutors what the delay was when we can get that as a written submission? We are aware, Chair, of the fact that our terms of reference do speak to broader issues in the criminal justice system, and it is possible that this particular case is endemic of a bigger problem. Hence, I'm saying that we are not opposed to it, but it does seem like the most efficient way to handle it is to get that court record, write to the NPA requesting reasons for delay, and we take a decision then based on those. That is our submission, Chair, but we stand to be to be convinced by the arguments of other parties as they come in. I'm not sure if anybody from the ANC has got a different view. Thank you, Chair.
We are covered, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sangoni and the ANC. Can I move to the MKP?
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. Chair, this is a very serious matter. That is our position as the MK party. And we need to take it further. It's not only about the delays here by the NPA, but also failure to reinstate the matter for a very long time. So what we think, Chair, should be a way forward here is that one, the report that has been given, that has been read here by Andile, we request for that report because this is a legal matter. So we are going to consult our legal team as well. And also the transcript that she has suggested that we request from the registrar, I think is going to be relevant as well, so that we have a clear understanding of what transpired. Because like Andile said, I have also been struggling to get nexus between reasons for striking the matter of the role and the Pashane matter, because Andile said that the NPA said, the magistrate said that the matter must be struck off the roll. The NPA position is that they will reinstate the matter when the Pashane matter has been finalized. So that is a cause. That alone is a cause for concern, Chair. Paul O'Sullivan is a person of interest and is a problematic person. So anything that shows wrongfulness on his side must be taken further. It can't be downplayed. We're not going to downplay this. We request that we be given a report, then we'll consult with our legal team. Then in the next meeting, when we have all the adequate and relevant information at our disposal, then we make a solid proposition. Thank you very much.
Is that you alone speaking, Honorable? The MKP speaks in one voice, can I assume?
I'm here, Chair. I've
Thank
raised
you
my
so
hand.
much, Honorable Skosana.
Yeah, I must emphasize, Chair, once again that, it's even worse. Paul O'Sullivan has mentioned MK Party, that he won't participate because of MK Party, which is a cause for concern. He can't dictate who he wants to appear before. He's labeling us.
That Honorable Skosana, that is not the point we are dealing with.
No, I understand you, Chair, but I'm making a point. I'm just emphasizing that to say the issue of Paul O'Sullivan. Paul O'Sullivan, the issue of the NPA, these delays and other, I understand that very well. Hence I wanted just to emphasize on the issue, because I know he might take us to court to delay all these matters. We'll finish this committee without having him appearing before us. Because the NPA as well, they are dropping the ball. But thank you, Chair.
The DA.
Thank you, Chair. I don't agree with the recommendation of the report, Chair. We don't have any information upon which to take a decision. It's absolutely pointless saying that the matter was struck off the roll in terms of Section 342A and it should now be re-enrolled. We don't know why it was struck off. It will have been struck off for an inordinate delay on the side of the prosecution, that's very clear. But we don't know why it was struck off, what the reasons were, and we don't know what the court order is. And without the court order, we can have this debate until, the cows come home, it will make no difference. If the court order was that it must be struck off the roll and a permanent stay of prosecution, that is the end of the matter. It cannot be re-enrolled by anybody. So we need to know what the outcome was before we can have this discussion. And the only way that we can find that particular piece of information is from the court records. It's absolutely pointless corresponding with the National Prosecuting Authority, who are in disarray. and asking them about things that happened 9 years ago. That prosecutor's long gone. So we need to have our own information from the best source possible, and the best source possible is the court document. So I suggest that we get the court record, ascertain what the reasons for striking it off were, what the order was for the strike off, and then we'll know how to take it forward. And until we have that, Chair, there's no point in this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The EFF.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, this is a very important matter, and it could speak directly to our terms of reference about interference and possibly even irregular and illegal influence over the decision for the matter to be withdrawn or whether it was struck off the roll. We are aligned with the view that let us get all the information and our legal team goes through it, presents a report to us, and then we take a decision on how we're going to move forward in that regard. And the sooner we do it, the better, because it will also speak to, well, if Paul O'Sullivan ends up appearing before us, but it doesn't also stop us from making findings based on that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sals.
Chair, we support the position of Honorable Breitenbach. Let's make an informed decision.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sals. Honorable James.
Thank you, Chair. In the absence, like Honorable Breitenbach has said, in the absence of additional information, we cannot give any input. So it's important for us to get the court report, and then we'll take this matter from there. Thank you.
The matter is agreed to in line with what has been suggested, that we should get further details so that we can take decisions from an informed position. And honorable members are saying that this matter must be treated expeditiously. Information must come to the committee on time. Thank you so much, honorable members. The next matter on the agenda, I'm handing over to Honorable Sals to present the matter he requested he would want to present before the committee.
Well, thank you, Chair. Because we have agreed earlier that we're going to be very brief, I then decided to summarize, but unlike the last time, just added some names. And then the second one will be just me talking through the email of the second person that I've received, and then I'll leave it there and I'll be advised what the next steps should be. So the first one is from a Paulina Temboho Ramajua, and then supported by a witness, Teresa Rapoto, a journalist with 23 years experience and the producer of the reality show Izangoma Zodumo. In 2020, Paulina's husband was murdered, and 5 others who was part of the cast members of the said reality show. The alleged accused in the cases are Mkhwanazi Mofokeng, also known as Gogo Maweni, and her partner or now husband, allegedly. And then since 2020, there was cases opened. Both Paulina and Teresa was placed under witness protection. They are still both in hiding, but nothing happened to the cases. Periodically, they would go and escalate the matter from local police the IO, right up to the provincial office, SEP's office in Gauteng, and senior officials would commit to dealing with the problem, but for 5 years, nothing has happened. So they believe that there is corruption involved and allege that the police are being paid to cover it up. They have evidence to this effect and request for the committee, obviously, to hear their testimony in this regard to show alleged cover up by SEPS Gauteng. Then I received an email by one Mr. or Sergeant Umlotswa Samkeliso. And he says, "Evening, sir. I am the one who was mentioned in the testimony of Mr. Vusi Ketmatlala. I can confirm we have opened cases against the Hawks KZN team, and General Mkhwanazi was present on the 9th of December 2024 in an unknown farm in Durban when we were assaulted. He even participated in the assault. This is just an allegation, I must emphasize." He continues to say, "He said to me I should have committed a suicide because here in KZN he is going to talk to the prosecutors to make me trial for 18 months. And then he says in April 2025, he did receive a call from co-accused telling him that there's an offer of 5 million and a police rank captain to withdraw the cases. And I asked him, where is the offer coming from? He said from Ketmatlala, but he is sent by General Mkhwanazi. I declined the offer." And then the email continues. He continues to then talk about the house, his house that was burned down or that was said to have burned down. He says, General Mkhwanazi on TV, that my house was burned down, lied on TV that my house was burned down before they came, which is not true. They broke into my house whilst I was not there, and later burned my house the following day. They went to my neighbor's shop to destroy camera monitors. I would like to come to the committee to put my story, and he has an affidavit and supporting documents of cases opened. And of course, as the committee knows, there was a testimony by one of the witnesses to this effect, and this gentleman wrote an email saying that he's the person that was referred to in the committee. I have all the details, Chair. I have the email and the supporting documents. Those are the two public submissions that I have received. Thank you, Chairperson. Chair, can you hear me?
Good afternoon, members. I think the chairperson is disconnected.
Deputy Chair.
So, members, good afternoon. I think the chair has disappeared on us. Honorable Souls, were you done?
Yes, I
Honorable
was.
Souls?
Yes, I was.
Okay, thank you very much. Members who was to follow after Honorable Souls?
Chairperson, it was a submission, I think, if I may through you, it was a submission for, I think Honorable Sauls was making a proposal for the addition of 2 extra submissions into the witness list. I am not sure if we would want to discuss it separately or perhaps on the last agenda item that MK had proposed about additional witnesses. Honorable Souls will correct me if I've misunderstood that his submission was that we add those two submissions to the public hearings. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sangoni. Honorable Souls, is that the understanding?
Yeah, the supreme leader of the ANC caucus here is correct.
Thank you so much, Honorable Souls. Members, I think what we must do, because Honorable Shongwe and Honorable Nomvalo would have made in a form of a question that there are some names that would have canvassed as part of our draft list of possible witnesses. So the chair added an item on as the last item, so as to ensure that that matter is discussed properly by the committee. So I want to suggest, members, that let's take that item to that last item number 8 that was added by Honorable Shongwe, because I think it's the same substance of additional witnesses to what we have now in terms of the program. Thank you so much, Honorable Souls. Thank you, Honorable Sangoni, for filling me up. I'm trying to double clutch here. There are a lot of activities. So, members, can we now take item number 5, the JCI report? Committee Secretary was going to present that report.
Chairperson, I thought the chair was going to deal with it.
Okay. The chair is still not yet back. I think let's pass it. When the chair is back, we're going to deal it after the letter from the United Africans Transformation. Members, I think the letter was also shared with the members. The United Africans Transformation has actually written us a letter raising their own issues. Committee Secretary, can you deal with the substance of the letter briefly before we take the NKP? And the Secretary? Are you able to fly to the letter?
Let me try, Chair.
If you are unable to flight it, you can proceed, Committee Secretary.
Yes, Chair. So, yeah, this is the letter. From the, I think it's UAT. Chair, in summary, the UAT is proposing that a certain Mr. Kumba be invited to appear before the committee. I think they indicate that there is certain information is shared on a podcast, and they feel that he might be able to enrich the committee's work. I think, in a nutshell, that is all that they are requesting.
Oh, that's also the same substance with the proposition by the Honorable Souls. So I think let's discuss it with the last item as well. Members, is that in order? Is that in order, members?
If
That
I
we
may,
take.
Chairperson?
Yes, Honorable Samuel.
I have no problem with us discussing it in the manner that we've agreed to Chair on Honourable Solz's proposal. But having gone through the letter from the UAT, I'm not sure if the committee secretariat has got more information about these revelations, allegations that have been said to have been made, because Honourable Sols, in his presentation, detailed to us what the allegations were. And I think even at the time that we were creating the letter, the list of witnesses, we would make a motivation on why a particular witness must be called. Now, I'm not getting the sense of the substance of these allegations from the UAT letter. Maybe if we could be enlightened, Chair, then we may take that approach. But right now, I personally don't have anything to go on. Thank you, Chair.
So the proposal, Honorable Samuel, is that let's request further information from the author of the letter.
Yes, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable members, is that agreeable? That approach in relation to the UAT letter?
Agreed.
Thank you, members. Now let's take the submission by the MKP on the judiciary. Madam Nomvalo, who's going to lead the presentation on your behalf.
Honorable Scosan.
Thank you so much, Honorable.
Thank you.
Honorable Scosan, you can proceed.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I guess that the issue, or as I said earlier, that we have a joint core committee in this core committee. I've mentioned the name of Tyler Shabalala, who's a prosecutor. When we started, the first day we gave names, I don't know what happened to that. And there was a motivation on that. I'm not going to go there again. I'm going to waste your, committee's time.
Okay,
and I think
Honorable Skosana. Honorable Skosana?
Yes.
Can you pause a little bit? Honorable Chairperson? Are you back?
Hello, Honorable Ngora.
Thank you very much, Chair. We have dealt with the submission by Honorable Souls. The item number 5, JCI report, we had to skip it and await you. So there's a letter from the UAT. It has already been presented. So the proposition which was acceptable by the committee was that let's request more information in relation to this Mr. Kumba from the author of the letter, because the feeling of the committee is that there is no final detail of why this person should be called compared to what Honorable Souls was actually submitting. So we are on the submission by the MKP now, which is led where Honorable Skosana is leading the submission. Then we are going to take that for the JSI report. Then it will be that last item. Thank you very much, and welcome back.
Okay, thank you so much. Honorable Skosana, you are on the platform.
Yes, I've just mentioned the prosecutor, Tyler Shabalala, who we are told that he works with the IDEC and is flight all over the country. I'm not going to go there because I think we've made that submission when we started giving names. But I'm just giving the name now. That the name which we were given was Tyler Shabalala, and the name of the judge, which judges, because we can't call all of them. Unfortunately, one of the judge has passed on. The name now, which the one who's still alive, is Judge Wendy Hughes Madondo. And he was together with Judge Vui Ntlampi, but unfortunately, Vui Ntlampi has passed on. So I'm suggesting the name of Judge Wendy Hughes Madondo. There was a matter between in court. I think it was a REF matter, a road accident fund matter, which there was an ethical conduct and some serious allegation which we have to probe as well as a committee like the one I've mentioned earlier. And there was an issue as well, the submission to General Khan, who was mentioned many times in Madlanga Commission, and here on our committee to be added on those lists. Those are our proposal as a decision. Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair.
No.
I'm not sure what happened. I can't hear anything.
Don't complain. It's a lucky state of affairs.
Are you done, Honorable Skosana?
Then it will be Nomvalo. With the names, I think I've mentioned those names already.
No addition, Chair.
Yes, I want to hear Honorable Skosana. What is your recommendation on those names?
That they have to be called before to appear before us, like any other people who were called here when there's allegation against them.
You said this are members of the judiciary or the NPA.
Yes, judicial. I'm talking about the judge, and on the other side, the NPA it's a prosecutor.
Yeah.
Yes. And General Khan from the police, crime intelligence.
Okay.
Yes.
Where are those allegations?
I'm saying to you, if you want us to send letters, we'll send letters. It's fine. There's no problem with that.
I think it's how we agreed last time. The reason why we put the item on the agenda was because you said you will formally make a presentation here. And that is basically why we afford you that space to make that presentation and produce those allegations. So that when we process the matter, we process it on the basis of the allegations. Because the matter you are raising, except for the name of General Khan, which might have been mentioned by the witnesses, you may not have to speak for it. Because there were witnesses that came and mentioned the name. We can look into our evidence and say, yes, there has been this allegation against General Khan. Does it warrant us to call him to appear before the committee? And then on the weight of those allegations, the committee can make a decision. So those two, you say, is Tyler Chabalala and
Judge Judge Wendy, which is Madondo.
That's not Madondo.
Yes, and the other one who suspended, I think will be told that is still appearing in court. So I don't want to go there. So I just mentioned one. I hope others who made some allegations against them, they'll come up with names as well. But I'll send the letters, Chair, to you by end of business. You'll have that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I hear the committee members? The ANC.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairperson. Maybe let me just start off by saying that as the African National Congress, we would want to support the submission by Honorable Souls for those two submissions that he has received from members of the public. I know that time is very tight, but I think that he has made a case for them to be listened to when we listen to the members of the public. On the issue raised by the MK Chair, we want to support the approach that you have laid out, that the MK Party submits, obviously, a letter outlining the allegations that they would want us to probe in the same manner that Honorable Souls has done. And maybe just to remind the Chair of a request that we had made during the hearings, that the South African Police Service, the generals, have made a number of sweeping allegations against members of the judiciary. And we had asked them to provide a list of those members of the judiciary that they believe are being influenced from outside in terms of the decisions that they take. I am aware, and I'm sure had Honorable Malema been here, he would have reminded us of the role of the JSC and as well as the judicial conduct, what I'm not sure what they call it. But insofar as it relates to the terms of reference of this particular ad hoc committee, I think that if the allegations are being made that members of the judiciary who must be named, it can't be a blanket statement, members of the judiciary are being influenced by criminals, are working at the behest of criminal cartels, then the SAPS must provide us with those names, and we would really urge that they are given a hearing once we know who they are. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
The DA.
Yeah, Chair, I agree with the previous speaker. See where it takes us. I think we're spending a lot of time on issues that are not essential right now.
The EFF.
Thank you, Chair. On Honourable Saul's presentation, definitely not opposed to the witnesses, but perhaps we can just get, if there is an explanation why they didn't meet the deadline for public submissions. And the only reason we're requesting this is that we are on a public platform right now. I've just received an SMS now this morning about someone who also wants to make a submission. So we just need to be cognitive that if we accept one, then we must be open to entertaining others who might come forward now. And as the hearings progress, we might end up getting more and more of these requests. So maybe we can just, if we can get an explanation on why, and given it seems that, I mean, based on what Honourable Souls presented, they seem to be quite clued up, and they have been following our hearings. So just why they would have missed the deadline, and they might have submitted in the early parts, and it might have been misplaced or got lost somewhere. So if we can just get that, but we're definitely not opposed to it. And yeah, we aligned with that process, which we did agree when we were doing the submissions or listing witnesses, rather, Chair, that like we're going to the crux of the matter now. So let's just give motivation on whoever we bring in, what allegations that they need to answer to in particular that has been raised both in the committee or that is within our terms of reference. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Matthys, what do you say about the submission of the MKP?
Exactly that. What I said, my last part, is that let's just get a detailed. I actually thought the presentation was going to be detailed, that the IDEC prosecutor allegation is X, Y, and Z, and he must come here to answer this. Same with the judge, and then also with General Khan. So we'll just wait for them to do their written submission, which I thought was going to be presented here. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Honorable James.
Thank you, Chair. We support the input made by the ANC. Thank you.
Okay. Can I give Honorable Soros and the MKP to reply? Because they are the ones who presented the items. Starting with Honorable Soros.
Thank you, Chair. To be frank and honest, my focus was not on asking around why submissions was not made before, etc. So I have no answer to that because I did not question that. My focus was on the fact that they reached out to me via email, and because our commitment is to find the truth no matter from whom it comes, I thought it appropriate to put it to the committee for consideration, and based, of course, on the content as well, to look into the allegations and also what has been sent to me in terms of their supporting documents. So, Chairperson, I do not have an answer as to why not earlier. I did not ask. I just played a role as a member of the committee. Public reached out, and I'm bringing what I've received via email to the committee.
The MKP.
Chair, just to add on what we are, in fact, I'm going to make a remark on what Honorable Source was talking about. We received a lot of emails as well, when already the deadline passed. And I don't think it will be fair as well, for others, to consider one and leave others, like the Honorable Martins has alluded as well. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to deal with that, because the public is watching as well to say, are we doing others favors, or are we sticking to what we agreed upon, that there's a deadline? And those people who sent those emails to the committee, before the deadline, and they've been, I'm not sure whether they consult like they do with witnesses. They've already, we have them here already, the 15, I think. Now, if you're gonna have someone somewhere, like I can as well send all those emails, because we received emails, after the closure. So I'm not sure, Chair, what would be, but for me, I think it would be problematic, for us to accept, other emails. There's a gentleman in Cape Town who's been sending, I don't know how many emails, complaining to say he was not, he was declined, and for whatever reason, whether it's high, medium, and low, in terms of how they are dealing with that, because I'm not part and parcel of how do they, because after receiving 700 plus of them, how do you then select those who they've selected? But indeed, it will be problematic, for the public to say we are entertaining, others after the closure. On that, for me, it's I think for MK as well, a party, it is problematic, because we're gonna get those backlash to say, you said it is closed already, and why are you now accepting So thank you, Chair. Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair.
I wanted to hear if you are done.
I'm done, Chair.
And then what is your reply to the views that members expressed on the presentation of the MKP? Honorable Skosana.
Yeah, Chair. Yes, I'm listening, Chair.
I have asked what is your reply to the views that members have expressed on the MKP presentation?
No, I don't have a problem, Chair. Hence, I said that we will send that submission. Agree. We'll send that submission to the committee by end of business today to you.
Okay. Let's do like this. Let's write to those witnesses that Honorable Sols has presented to allow them to advance reasons why they have missed the deadline, or whether they have missed, we may not know now. But to say, yeah, they must advance reasons why we are only getting their submission after the deadline. And the committee can decide on condonation or not. If because from what I hear is that the members of the committee, as Honorable Nola was chairing, they were satisfied with the presentations and convinced that there may be matters to be probed. So maybe what we can do is to write to them and ask for reasons why they would not have complied with the deadline if they didn't. And then the committee can then decide if it wants to condone their request or not. And we will also wait for those details, Honorable Skosana, from those people who will be giving you that information. And equally, they must explain why they have not complied with the deadlines. Because from our submissions, we don't have those matters that you are raising, unless if they are emanating from public submissions. Can I get clarity that the matters you are raising are emanating from public submissions?
Chair, as I said earlier, I've said names, we gave names when we started this core committee. The name of a prosecutor was there. You can go back to the minutes. The judge
I agree with you. Those names were not mentioned by any of the witnesses.
Remember, Chair, when we started, January 6th, it did not mention every name. When we met for the first time, you asked parties to submit names. We submitted names on the day. And all the parties have done that. There was nothing like you must bring something when we started. To say you must bring this before you mention a name. You remember very well, Chair.
Yeah, no, I agree
now,
with
because
you.
We are in the now because we are on the run.
Can you just Can you just hold it a moment? Let me explain something. The committee agreed that General Mkhwanazi will be our primary witness. And then he came, he presented. After presenting, then the committee met and then made submissions on names. And the reason why other names did not stand was because there is no witness that came before the committee, including General Mkhwanazi himself, who said, I know of Lakhanyane here, or I know of Sangoni there. So you are mentioning the names of these two witnesses that you will want them to appear before the committee on allegations that are coming from elsewhere outside the witnesses that have appeared before the committee. And nobody is saying those witnesses will not come. But we are saying that whoever will be making that information available about the misconduct that would have happened must also explain why at the time the public was given chance to make submissions. They did not make so that you don't treat the matter that has been raised by Honorable Souls differently from the matter that is raised by Honorable Skosana. All of them are similar matters. And if we talk compliance, we must also be consistent as the committee. You can proceed, Honorable Skosana.
I thought, Chair, when we started, as parties, we gave names as well, beside the issue that our term of references are very clear. And perhaps I missed that on the discussion, we agreed that only those who would be mentioned by General Mkhwanazi and other witnesses, only those people will be called. But hence we said that the issue of judges been accused for many years, and I'm saying this again, by honorable member, many years that judges are captured, judges are corrupt. Now, we must probe that. Unless we are saying, because they were not mentioned by any witness, therefore it falls off. Because no one, has mentioned their names in all the witnesses we have, or they've missed the deadline. The issue of deadline, hence I'm saying we have other emails which people have sent as MPs representative to say we've got these matters. We said send them to the committee. There's a deadline, there's an email address there where you must send this thing. Some sent them after it was closed. Some said they were not accepted for whatever reason. Some said they did not get a response. There's a lot of things, a lot of allegations. Now, if there's that problem now that only those who are mentioned by the witnesses, hence the issue when we started, we mentioned names because already we're given those names that there's a problem. Even if General Mkhwanazi did not mention the names of those prosecutors, whilst we're talking that the excitement of our people and IDEC in particular, they were saying they are using Tyler Chabalala for instance. As I said, we will send that. I was not aware, the chair, maybe out of ignorance, or maybe I've missed a meeting that only those one who are mentioned. We cannot mention anybody. If that's the case, then therefore it means this is going to fall off. Hence, I'm saying to you, Chair, in terms of these two, we've got those letters. We will send those letters. We say these are if the committee is satisfied, they'll be called. If the committee is not satisfied, it means they'll fall off as well.
Yeah, you, honorable member, you are not saying anything different from what I'm saying. You and I agree, we understand each other to say, let's have that those letters, and My assumption is that those letters are not written by yourself, isn't it?
Truly so.
Yes, they were
People
written
were
by
just raising, yes.
they were written by citizens of this country.
Truly so,
And,
aggrieved by
yeah,
those people, yes.
if those letters were not written before the deadline of the 31st of October, if they were written before the deadline of the 31st of October, let them come and the committee will go through them and make a determination. And if they were written after the deadline, then it means the same proposal that you made to say the matters that Honorable Sols is raising, do they comply with the deadline? So it means the same must be applied to the letters that you would be presenting before us to say, why didn't these people comply with the deadlines? Or why didn't they forward their letters to the committee secretariat? Remember, there was an advert which was made for the public to respond to the terms of reference and matters thereof. And that advert ran against, ran until the 31st of October. So this is just a procedural, which I think we must do for every matter. And then once the reasons for the delays or the reasons for non-compliance with the deadline have been advanced, the committee can decide on condonation or whatever decision the committee arrives at. Agreed?
I agree, Chair. I agree completely with you, Chair. I have no views about it, and hence I said to you, those letters, if they are late, they did not do what they were supposed to do. We are correct; it will be treated as this matter which Honourable Source raised, because names were mentioned there. I mean, for instance, Balula has been mentioned many times. You know, by this by some of these witnesses. You know, and indeed, you remember what happened, because those names were submitted. But what happened, as you said now, what I'm hearing now, you know, it's it's fine, Jay.
Okay. So the three items. So my understanding from what I heard from Honorable Mkhwanazi is that the item of Honorable Mkhwanazi does not have details, and that further details have to be requested. Because the letter only says that there is information that the witness who is being mentioned, the potential witness being mentioned in that letter made during an interview, but without saying what are the allegations that were made in that interview. And my understanding is that honorable members are saying that there should be more information provided if the committee is to take a decision whether the that potential witness has to be invited. And maybe we should also seek to get clarity as to why that witness has also not made a submission to the committee before the deadline of the 31st. And if that witness wishes to appear before the committee, must explain why he hasn't complied with that deadline and advance reasons why he thinks his or her evidence is vital for the committee to listen to. And then the presentation of Honorable Sols and Honorable Skosana, we have summarized it the way we did. Let's get those letters, Honorable Skosana, and the reasons, as well as Honorable Souls. The committee is convinced that the matters you presented call for probity, but before we do that, let's get those witnesses to. There may be extraordinary reasons which every one of us will understand. Let's get those reasons, and then the committee will make a consideration whether it gives condonation or not, and also make an appeal to honourable members that whatever decision we arrive at, it must not open the floodgates for more and more submissions that were not there before. I think these are the honourable members who have requested to come and make submissions before the committee, unless if there is any other member of the public who says, I have made a submission before you, and I don't hear any one of you talking about my submission. I want to know what is the status of my submission, and I have proof that I made that submission to yourselves. Do we agree with the summary I made, honourable members? Because I might have missed some part due to network cut off.
Yes, Chair.
Thank you so much. Is that the same understanding, honourable members of the MKP?
I think we accept, Chair.
Okay, the DA?
Yes, Chair.
The EFF?
Noted. Chair, just one more thing. We don't have to discuss it now, but on the public submissions, we need to respond formally to all those who we have declined to bring to the committee. So they're not there and they haven't received formal communication, unless that's already been done. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, remember those ones we still have to determine how they must be handled. And when we respond to those applicants, we must tell them how their matters are going to be handled. Correct?
Noted, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sons.
Yeah, Honorable Chair, I'm comfortable with this arrangement. I would rather not want to speak on behalf of people when I don't have surety of what the reasons for.
We just wanted to check,
So I agree
Honorable
with you.
Sons, if the summary we make is the summary that reflects the discussions in the meeting.
Yes, my answer is yes. I was just substantiating the reasoning.
Yeah. Okay. You can say what you wanted to say, Honorable Member, with due respect.
Thank you, Chair. No, I was saying that because I am not 100% sure what the reasons was, I agree with the approach to get the public members in question to respond themselves and say why. In that way, it is transparent and open. So I agree with that approach, Chair. Thank you.
Honorable James.
We are covered, Chair. No issues from our side.
Okay, thank you so much. Honorable members, the next matter is the letter from the JSTI. I had a meeting with the chairperson of the JSTI regarding the presentation of what you may call classified information.
Chair, you are breaking up. We can't hear you.
intelligence information.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's only me, but I can't hear you.
And then chair outlined can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Hello, honorable members, am I audible?
Yes, you are, Chair.
How's it? Uh, no, I'm still on route. I wasn't sure about the time. See you now.
Honorable Song, I was still in the meeting or I'm out of the meeting. I can't hear anybody now.
Apologies. I think the chair is has got network problems, but unfortunately, this item
Seems like it's an ANC problem.
members, apologies. The chair has disconnected, but we're going to keep looking for him. We'll remember that we had skipped the JCI letter on the basis that he was the one who was to properly deliver it to the committee. You'll recall that he even made mention that he had a meeting with the chair of the committee. So I think, can you give the chair just 1 or 2 minutes? Come back. Apologies.
No, Chair, Deputy Chair.
We agree, the chair, but we disagree with Shongo. It's not an ANC problem, it's a network problem with the chair of the committee.
I should...
You hear me now?
Oh, yippee, yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes, Chair, we can hear you properly.
Yeah. And let me apologize for the glitch. I was saying to you that last week, Tuesday, before the adjustment votes, we had a meeting with the chair of the JSCI to discuss the matters that the committee has raised regarding the appearance of the IGI and or the former IGI, Faisal Patel, I think, and or Mr. Faisal Patel, and the availability of intelligence information or classified information before the committee. And then in the discussions, the chair said, look, there are matters that the Speaker of Parliament has referred to the Joint Standing Committee of Intelligence. And there is also, of course, those matters are emanating from some of the allegations that would have been made by General Mkhwanazi. And secondly, that there is a procedure that has to be followed if any person who is not a member of the intelligence crew has to have access to information that is intelligence related or fall within the ambience of intelligence services or any information that may be classified information. And then in that discussion, we then came to an agreement to say, look, because the meeting has happened, can the JSCI write to the ad hoc committee and outline every procedure that has to be satisfied if the ad hoc committee was to request access to any information that it thinks will help to do its work. And indeed, following that meeting, the chair of the JSCI wrote the letter, which we made available to the members of the committee. I think last week, Thursday or Friday, that letter would have been circulated to the members of the committee, which outlines the procedure that is followed when it comes to handling intelligence services related information. And I felt I must give you that report as member. Of course, it has taken so long. The chief whip would also remember that we previously had a meeting with the chair of the JSCI on similar matters, but now we have been able to reach an agreement that the JSCI should be able to write that letter and explain to the committee what is the procedure that has to be followed. That is the information, honorable members, and you have the letters at your disposal. Can I then rotate the matter for comments by committee members? Or first, let me get an indication if the committee members will not have had the chance to read the letter and they want it to be read in this meeting. Can I have that indication, members?
I haven't had a chance to read it with any kind of attention, Chair.
Honorable Bredenbach.
I've not had the opportunity to read it with any kind of real attention. I need a bit of time to read it.
You will need to have time to read it. I can't get indication from other honorable members. Or would members want us to say, go and read the letter and we can meet one of the days at lunch and discuss it, being the only item?
That sounds like a sensible suggestion, Chair. I support that.
Okay, is that supported, honorable members?
Supported by the EFF, Chair.
The ANC?
We support, Chair. Thank you very much.
The MKP? The PA?
The MKP has closed shop and come back to the ANC. So on their behalf, we support the proposal.
The PA?
We support.
The Action SA?
Supported, Chair.
Thank you so much. Let's go and read the letter, honorable members. It's just one page with reference to
3 pages, Chair.
With reference to relevant sections. There are the other pages for signature, honorable Matthews. The members can go and read, and those that need to consult can consult, and then we will come back and discuss the matter. There was an item that Honorable Shongwe has suggested. In fact, there are 2 items, one by Honorable Shongwe and one by Honorable Matthews. Can we get to the item, Honorable Shongwe? Honorable members, the item that, because we can't get Honorable Shongwe, the item that he raised relates to the finalization of the list of witnesses. Members would remember that there was a long list of witnesses, and then we said, let's write this list and put it here. As and when witnesses appear before the committee, we will come and look at the list that we have and see how we make a submission to the legal team for consultations and subsequently for scheduling of appearances before the committee. So I think Honorable Shongwe was asking about that list to say, where is that list and what becomes the status of that list? If I'm representing him accurately. Can I check if he's back or anybody from the MKP wants to speak to the item? But the long and short should be what I have said, the way I understood him. Okay. We don't hear anything from them. Can I check if there are comments on that item from? I may not have a suggestion on how the meeting must deal with that item because it's an item that meeting.
Chair.
The ANC.
Chairperson, thank you very much. I thought that we had dealt with this matter, which was the final item on the agenda, when the MKP presented the names in the previous discussion that we just had. So that matter has already been dispensed with, is my understanding, Chairperson.
Okay, is that the understanding
Chair?
of the board? Hello?
Honorable Malema,
Okay, Honorable Malema.
I thought the procedure of the meeting would be that if someone sponsors an item, and by the time we arrive at that item, the person is not there, ordinarily we'll have to skip the item because we may not have the rationality behind what informed the sponsoring of such an item. So we're now going to speak in darkness without direction. So I thought because he's not here, let's skip the item. And then the day we have a meeting and still feel strong about it, we'll talk about it. Thanks, Chair.
Is that? Thank you so much, Honorable Member. Is that agreed to, Honorable Members?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Chairperson.
Hello?
Chairperson, I'm not being difficult on this. You were out of the meeting. We skipped the JSCI report and went to the final item on the agenda, which was the MKP addition to the agenda. The MKP spoke to the matter. The matter was discussed. We have just now concluded the matter by saying that those motivations and letters for the additional names the MKP wanted to raise will be submitted to you before the end of the day. So it's not a question of they are not here to present it. They have presented the matter. We have discussed it. We said we're moving to the last agenda item, combined it with Honorable Saul's presentation. So it has already been dispensed with, Chair. I think maybe it was just a communication break when you were out of the meeting. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. No, thank you so much for the explanation. Let's leave it at that, Honorable Members. Because the Honorable Members are not here to speak for themselves.
Chair.
Hello, Honorable Scott.
I'm sorry to come in. Are you, when you say members are not here because there's a problem of network, is it are you talking about us as MKP?
Yeah. Because we called several times. But
I've tried as well. I've tried, but I think Honorable Sangon has explained that. She has explained that I'm fine.
Okay, no, thank you so much. The last item was the one that Honorable Mathais has raised of sourcing additional resources for the committee. I think Honorable Mathais, to respond to your request, it will be best for us to request a written response from the administration of Parliament or the authorities, so that the committee deals with a response that Parliament would have written to us. I will suggest we handle the matter that way.
Noted, Chair. And
Okay.
Chair, maybe if you can just raise it with the administration of Parliament, the longer we delay this, when we are busy doing our deliberations, there's a lot of findings we are not going to be able to make because throughout the course of our hearings, there have been things that we said we need to follow up on this, we need to get that, we need to get minutes of this, we need to get video footage of that. We are going to be stuck because we are not going to be able to do proper findings because we do not have an investigator or someone who is dedicated specifically to do all the follow-ups of the things that we need based on our hearings. And it's been going on for too long. So if you could also just alert the Parliament administration that they are also just crippling our performance in terms of being able to give a sound report. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable Member. Honorable members, we have come to the end of the agenda items. Can I check if there is any other matter we would have left out, which we had decided to deal with today? Honorable Skosana, is your hand up or is this a legacy hand?
It's a legacy hand, Chair.
Yes, I'm just using the euphemism. I don't want to say, is it an old hand? That's why I'm saying, I'm asking whether it's a legacy hand. I'm not seeing any member raising a hand to speak. I'm going to assume that we have exhausted all the issues that were on today's agenda. I want to thank you so much, honorable members, for having availed your time for us to have this housekeeping meeting and deal with issues that are coming for the week and the subsequent weeks. Tomorrow, we are starting at 11 o'clock. Our witness is Mr. McBride. Can I check Andile? Are the statements out to members?
I'm not sure, Chairperson, but I'll assert in the next.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, you can just confirm and let members know if they have not yet received the statements. You can confirm with them as to when they can receive those statements. So this week, it's Mr. McBride and Mr. Mkhwanazi from Ekurhuleni. Thank you so much, honorable members. All the best for the day. Those who are flying to Cape Town, safe travels. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.